Hello, my beautiful pumpkins, and welcome to your summer 2021 reading. Oh my goodness, I cannot believe we are this far into 2021. It is like, what the heck? I feel like spring just zipped by. Obviously, we have a little bit more time until summer, but I like to get these out a little bit earlier so you know what to expect, what is to come. And I'm really excited because I've talked about this a little bit in other readings, but in tropical astrology, we actually have the planet of Jupiter dipping into Pisces, and this is going to be going on for most of summer. And this allows us to have manifestations come in faster. To me, Jupiter is very comfortable in the sign of Pisces. Jupiter is our planet of luck, abundance, expansion, higher learning. And Pisces is such a beautiful, magical, like mystical sign on its own that I feel like the two of them together make this like beautiful love affair. And to me, summer is just going to be this very like vibey, beautiful, blessed time. And I just couldn't wait. I couldn't wait to get into a summer reading. So that's what we're doing today. So for those of you that kind of know how pick-a-cards work, I will tell you which piles are which, so you can just go to that timestamp. But before I do that, I do want to let you know that I have opened a Patreon and I do my monthly pick-a-cards there. So June's pick-a-card will be coming out within the next week or so. And it goes over like your career, your romance, all kinds of stuff for the month of June, and just exclusive stuff that you cannot get anywhere else. I don't put them up on YouTube where they can be publicly accessed. So if you want extra content from me, be sure to check that out. The link is going to be down below for you. And if you are familiar with pick-a-cards, the pink candle is going to be pile number 1. The yellow candle is going to be pile number 2. The blue candle is going to be pile number 3. So I really felt like these colors were just a vibe together. My intuition pulled them out and I was like, yeah, this is it. We've got a new deck we're working with today. I'm really excited to use it. And if you are unfamiliar with pick-a-cards, basically on my channel, what we like to do is we do intention candles with the cards, not every time, but pretty frequently, where this gives you an opportunity to set an intention for your life, something that you really want to bring into your life, or it could be an emotion that you want to feel more of, a person, an actual physical item, something that you really desire to bring in. And so we focus on that, and then we go through and actually look at the cards. I start with your tarot cards, then we do oracle cards. But if you're unfamiliar with how to choose, there are so many ways to do this. But some of my favorite ways are looking at the timestamps down below. That sometimes your lucky number will be present in there, and it will give you maybe a key indication that that pile is for you. And you can also read the auras of cards. I've started using a white background more frequently because I know that really helps when reading auras. Now, obviously, not everybody is extremely proficient at that, so don't worry. There's certainly other ways. If your favorite color is here, pink, yellow, blue, that might be helpful as well. And more than anything, just trust yourself. Know that no matter what, you're never going to choose wrong. That's the most important thing, is even if you feel called to multiple piles, even if you feel called to all 3 piles, there is a message in there for you wherever you feel called. Now, the last thing I want to say before I give you some time to meditate with the cards is that I do not control your fate. These cards do not control your fate. They are a helpful guide. Here on my channel, we specialize in psychology and spirituality and bridging that gap and bringing the awareness back to yourself. That is what we're doing here. So sometimes I'm channeling in so much information that it's impossible to hit every single one of you with a pile. However, though that happens more often than not, sometimes you just need a certain oracle card. Sometimes you're just here for the candle. Sometimes it's just the tarot cards, and sometimes it's a myriad of the piles. The most important thing is to trust yourself in the choosing and know that you can't be wrong, because you would have to be vibrating on a frequency that even matches this reading to be here. So keep that in mind. And I'm going to go ahead and quiet up, give you some time to meditate with these beautiful cards, and then we're going to get into it. All right, my beautiful pile number one. If you chose this pile, you chose the pink candle. So we're actually going to start with that. I kind of already explained the intention candle earlier, so we're just going to get right into it. Go ahead and place your hands either both over your heart center or one over your stomach and one on the heart. This just really helps us to feel very supported by ourselves, by the universe, and also helps us to align our intention with us in the best way possible. So it brings in that like heart chakra energy as well as that solar plexus energy, which is great for manifestation. So go ahead and focus on your intention for a moment, a person, a place, a thing, whatever it might be for your summer. It doesn't have to be for your summer. It could be literally anything you want. Pink candles, I will tell you, do correspond to love, romance, and especially self-love. Self-love and very like innocent, sweet love. So this might be your summer of just like amazing self-care, a summer of romance. We'll see what happens when we get into these cards. But let's go ahead and take a deep breath in and expand your belly with this big one deep breath in through the nose, out through the mouth. We'll do it together. All right, we're going to go ahead and light it and see what we get. All right. Oh, she almost looked like she was going to go out and then popped when she hit the wax a little. So I do feel like there is going to be kind of an arc to your summer because I don't know how well the camera picks it up, but it looked like the wick kind of did this like arcing thing. Like it's going to kind of slowly come together. I feel like many of you are going to have a good surprise coming in your summer, whether I feel like it's going to be positive regardless, but it's going to be a welcomed surprise. And this could be, like I said, love, this could be money, this could be career opportunities. Something good is going to be building in your summer. So let's go ahead and see what the tarot cards have for us. We're first going to start with tarot and then we'll look at the oracle cards for you that we have. So let us see. I'm so excited. This new deck is so cute. It's Sailor Moon based. I will link it down below for you. We have the King of Cups. We love this energy in this house, okay? We have the King of Cups. We have the Tower. We have the Three of Swords and the King of Compacts. This is so interesting. Okay. All very big cards. First of all, you have two of the major arcana, or no, excuse me, one of the major arcana, but two kings. And I love that energy for you. Now, I know what y'all are thinking. If you know anything about tarot, you're like, oh my God, Kloee, why are you trying to pull the Tower for my summer? But hear me out, okay? This Tower, whatever this thing is, I feel like it's going to be such a welcomed thing. It's actually like I got this feeling of deep release when I pulled it. And this is the feeling of like, finally, this thing is over. Finally, this thing that has been looming over me is done. Finally, I have broken free of this limiting belief that I've been carrying, or several limiting beliefs. There is something in your life, pile number one, that has really been holding you back from reaching your highest potential. This could be a person that you feel really imprisoned by. Somebody that's like very manipulative, I'm hearing, somebody that's really hurt you. This could also be a job that feels extremely unfulfilling. And you feel like there's no way out. Like you have to work to pay the bills, or you have to, like, this thing has been with you for quite some time, whatever this is. And ultimately, it's something that maybe I feel like you've stuck with it because of financial resource. Like you have not had another option. Like you've had to stay in a living situation you don't like. You've had to stay, something about this, you've had to stay somewhere that you have not been 100% happy to be. And for some of you, this could be really big things. For some of you, I feel like this is also smaller things. Like you're pretty content with life, but it's not like there's things that are missing, and you've had this like limiting awareness of self that like you're going to be breaking through. That is really what I'm hearing. And it might come as a huge shock and a surprise when it happens. But ultimately, having a King of Compacts and a King of Cups, the thing I want you to know and what Spirit wants you to know, pile number one, is that you are so supported no matter what. You are so supported. And not only are you supported financially, a King of Compacts is kind of like a King of Pentacles energy. That's the same. This tarot talks about it a little bit differently, but it's you having the financial resource to go and do what you need to do for yourself. And especially if we're having a summer of self-care, you can rest assured that your finances are okay. And with King of Cups, your emotional awareness is going to be improving. I feel like many of you maybe also don't really think the highest of yourself. And that is something that's going to be coming out of this is you're going to start putting yourself before everyone else. And many of you have been taught and conditioned that that's a very selfish thing to do, but Spirit is giving you this opportunity to transcend that, to realize that you vibrating at your highest frequency possible is actually going to benefit the world greatly. And it is in your best interest to know yourself, know where you're going, and carve out your own path and follow your own light, to stop basing your decisions in life on this road that has been paved for you. Like, I'm seeing this vision of this road that you have been traveling for a very long time. And there might be generations that have come before you that have said, this is how you have to do it. And you are the person that is here to say, no, I don't need this pathway. This is not the direction that I feel called to. This is not serving my purpose. It doesn't make me happy. And the minute you start to make the decisions that align with the person that you are, now, many of you, I'm hearing it. I can hear it right now. Many of you are saying, but Kloee, I don't know who I am. I don't know what I stand for. I don't know what my conviction is. I don't know where I'm going. And this summer, you're going to be made more aware of that. That is what is also coming out of this, out of releasing this. Honestly, I feel like for a lot of you, it is a very toxic environment. That's what keeps coming up. Like, whether it's in a career environment, a home setting, there is a toxic environment that is being released, and you moving in a way that makes more sense going forward. And it's going to be so beautiful. I'm so excited to get into these oracle cards, because I feel like for many of you, this is really like the blessing that you've been waiting for. And you haven't been able to even see a way out of it because you've been living in it for so long. And this is going to come as a big welcomed change. So for you, we have expect powerful change with the new moon eclipse. And I need to tell you something, pile number one. I want to say it's the new moon in Gemini coming up in tropical astrology, which is coming in June. It will be, I believe, a new moon eclipse. So this might be the pivotal moment that is like the beautiful rebirth for you. Now, we are heading into eclipse season. We have a full moon eclipse coming up. We have a new moon eclipse coming up. And then I want to say it might even be followed by I want to say there's is there 3 eclipses? Don't quote me on that. I'm not sure if there's more than 2. I would have to actually consult the stuff I use to look at astrology, but ultimately, this change will be powerful for you, and it is very eclipse energy. Eclipse energy can be very chaotic, but ultimately it is going to be serving you. Now, we also have for you, don't let your past hold you back with the South Node, and the end of a tough cycle approaches with the full moon in Capricorn. So wow, this is so beautiful. Don't let your past hold you back. This really falls into what I was saying. I feel like the path that has been laid out before you, even if you've made decisions that you have made yourself in this path, because obviously I'm not saying that every choice has been made for you. You've made decisions that have been in alignment with you, but it still doesn't feel perfect. It doesn't feel correct. And you're still somewhat following this path that has been laid. It's because of where you've come from. You are the person that came here to turn towards your ancestors and say, no, it doesn't have to be this way. We don't have to keep doing it this way. And this might have worked for all of y'all, and I'm so happy for you, but I have to go and do it my own way. And many of you might even be very angry about this. I'm feeling a lot of resentment coming out. And if many of you are feeling very angry, just know that there's a decent chance that this was a part of your soul's calling. You came here to change this. You came here to be the person that would stand up and say no. and go in a different way and show others that they can do it too. And so it's been harder for you. I hate I hate that message. I hate it when I'm channeling and that like, oh, things have been harder for you. And this is my human coming out, I guess. The things are harder for you because you're meant to be like blessed, but ultimately that really is the truth. And don't get me wrong, everybody struggles. Everybody has a hard time in something in their life. Nobody's life is just rainbows and sunshine every single day. It just doesn't work like that. We wouldn't learn anything otherwise. But I feel like the thing that has been so difficult for you, whatever this tower is, you came here to have that experience so that you could be the person that would change it. And right now you might feel really confused and not sure how in the hell you're going to do it because you're not quite there yet. But I feel like this summer, that is where that shift is going to come. And the end of a tough cycle approaches. This again just confirms to me and you that this tough cycle that you've been running around through, it's not like you're just going to be snatched up out of it or something. It's not like it's something that is going to, it might hit some of you like an epiphany moment where you're like, oh my God, it all just makes sense. This totally makes sense now. But I feel like it's going to come in a little bit slowly. Like there's going to be a breadcrumb trail that's just going to kind of open your eyes, open your consciousness a little bit more. And many of you might be already highly conscious beings, but there's always room for more. There's always room for more expansion. And again, that Jupiter in Pisces, we're here for the expansion. So I feel like for many of you, it's going to come with a lot of expansion. Now we also have for you the card Lapis Lazuli, make a decision. I'm laughing because I feel like that's really, this whole reading has been kind of focused about you making decisions that are more in alignment with yourself. And that might be something you've never really allowed yourself to do. So I don't laugh to make fun of the situation. I think a lot of you are experiencing some really difficult stuff. Please be aware, if I ever laugh in the middle of a reading when it seems inappropriate, I'm a Gemini moon. We just laugh about our feelings. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm very deep. We love a good feelings moment. This is why I'm in the study of psychology. But I feel like when things are uncomfortable, sometimes I will laugh, and I'm very sorry. I don't mean to make a mockery of what you're going through. It's just a sign of, honestly, a little bit of discomfort. Now we also have for you the card of happiness. Apologies if you're having a hard time seeing that. It's a very pretty card. We have the card of happiness. It's really next to the light over here, so I feel like it's kind of hard to see. And the card of animals. Oh my gosh. Many of you feel the happiest when you spend time with animals. That is a big part of your soul's calling, is to be more with nature, to be more with animals. And the reason you feel called to that is because it's where you're meant to go. You wouldn't feel that much comfort from animals if it wasn't a part of your own purpose, and you haven't allowed yourself this ability to fully trust your intuition, to let it guide you. And that's what's coming this summer, is especially with the King of Cups. The King of Cups is also somebody, because we have that here too. The King of Cups is someone that they listen to their intuition. Like, they have a good logical head on their shoulders, but their intuition, they really bring forth and rule from the heart. And I mean, you even chose a pink candle that corresponds to the heart chakra as well. So I'm getting like a very heart-centered and driven summer. And many of you also might be getting a new animal or making a connection with an animal that you already have. Animals are something that are really important to you. And this summer, I feel like that's going to get highlighted. Something has come into your reality that's going to make you maybe want to start something different with animals. Maybe you want to go out for a veterinarian career. Maybe you want to become an animal behaviorist. Maybe you want to, be someone that like volunteers at like a zoo, or volunteers to help do like research with animal behavior. I'm hearing very strongly as well. It's something that makes you feel very fulfilled though. And some of you also, I'm hearing like animals are naturally drawn to you, pile number one. And not just like, I'm also hearing like birds specifically. Birds might have a significance to you, butterflies, birds in particular, though, because both of these cards have birds depicted on them. Um, you also might have major Capricorn placements. Now, obviously, that's not going to be everyone, but you might even have a Capricorn moon placement because we did pull this Capricorn card here. Um, Are any of you going through your Saturn return? I ask that because Saturn rules the sign of Capricorn. And if you have Aquarius in the sign of Saturn, you would be going through your return right now. I'm going through mine. I fully understand where you're. Well, I don't fully understand because everybody's experience is different, but know that I'm in the thick of it too. I feel like many of you, the reason this is surfacing and things have been so hard is because you need to make a change. There's change on the horizon and you're afraid. There's fear. There's a lot of fear going into this. But you got to let yourself soar, pile number one. You have to let the change come in. It's powerful change. And you have to stop letting your past results dictate what your future is going to be like. Now, excuse me, know that everybody has a multitude of pathways that they can take in their life. There is no one single pathway that is, this is the only way I can do things in this life. It's the only way it's going to go. You're always on the right path because even when things feel like they deviate from where you're supposed to be or where you want to be, you always come back to center. You sometimes need the experience that you like had to go down the side road because you needed that experience to bring you back to center. And that is kind of what I'm feeling for you. Pile number one is that you have kind of deviated from your own path, and that scares you because you're not doing what is in alignment with yourself. You're doing what you feel like everybody else thinks you should be doing. And it's crushing your soul. It's crushing your spirit to not go out and do what you feel most called to do. And this summer is when that is going to change. We have Saturn going into retrograde, I think, next month. And I never want to scare you with retrogrades. Planets go in and out of retrograde all the freaking time. It's nothing to be afraid of. However, it is a time to reevaluate that part of your life. And so Saturn, always look to where your Saturn sits in your chart if you're familiar. If you're not, I always use AstroSeek. That's like my favorite website to look this stuff up. It gives you a lot of descriptions. It's free. It's Astro-Seek, like there's a dash in between Astro and Seek. But if you look to where your Saturn placement is, you can kind of see what you're going to be working intently on this summer, what is going to be really getting a major upgrade. And if you're not moving in alignment with it, you can expect that there will be delays and setbacks in that area of your life. And I feel like you're going to be getting ahead of that, though. That's most importantly this summer, pile number one. Whatever that thing is that needs changing for you. And I feel like many of you already know what it is if I'm talking about it. Like you're going to look at your chart if you decide to and be like, oh my gosh, that's exactly what she was talking about. I knew. But I feel like for many of you, that is what is going to be getting like a big major evolution is how you see these things and how like that is where the transformation will come as you work on it. So just pay attention to that. And the last card I have for you, pile number one, is Paradox. And I think this is actually, let's put this one up here so you can see it a little bit better. I feel like this card has come out a few times in recent readings on my channel. And it always kind of comes to, I don't want to say like, tell us a story, but I feel like you're someone that you hold a lot of opposites in your life. You hold a lot of really big extremes and you often feel like you are too much or your mind is too much or you think too hard about things. And in reality, something you're being pushed to accept this summer is that your natural ability and talent to hold polar opposites and see the perspectives is a gift. It's hard because it makes you not really sure of who you are. It makes you afraid to make your own decisions that are in alignment with you because there's always a counter to whatever you think about. There's always a counter perspective. And you, I think kind of do that. Now, don't get me wrong. There are obviously some things that you're really certain about, but those of you that really feel like you hold extremes constantly, this is where you're going to start to accept. You're going to start to accept that not only is it a gift because it allows you to connect deeper with others and yourself, it allows you to explore more pathways, but I feel like you're kind of on this journey of like major self-discovery. And I think after this summer, you're going to be a lot more sure of where you're headed, what you want to do with your life, not even your life, because I think that can change. I don't think it's like, oh, I have to dedicate my whole life to this one thing. Some people it is like that, and you're going to find that thing. But for some of you, you're going to find what the next thing is that really carries your soul and your life forward. And many of you, this is something you've been asking and praying and like basically screaming at the sky for, yelling at the moon about. And it's finally here. This is finally the time where that is going to come in for you. So pile number one, I feel like I have talked too much. And I hope that this reading resonates with you. I hope that you got something out of it. I hope that it helps you on your path. Please, please, please do not forget when you stand up in your own authenticity, you empower everyone around you to do that same thing. And don't forget to follow me on Instagram, TikTok, my Patreon, where there are exclusive readings every single week. There's an exclusive reading. We do monthly stuff that you can't get anywhere else. All kinds of good things depending on what tier you come into. The link for that will be down below. And if you feel called to do so, it is never an expectation, but always, always, always appreciated. I have my Cashapp, Venmo, and PayPal listed down below. I do accept tips for my readings. If you would like to do that, I usually pour it back into decks. We got this deck recently because of some of you, so thank you so much. And I love you so much, my beautiful pumpkins. I will speak to you again soon. Claim your blessing and have a magical summer. Bye. All right, pile number two. If you chose this pile, you chose the yellow candle, and yellow candles actually represent the sun, sunshine, happy times. They also can correspond to the zodiac sign of Leo. And to me, if you ever want to bring like more joy or sunshine into your life, a yellow candle is a good one to choose. Now, you do not have to set intention with any of that. You can use this candle for whatever you want to, but all that I ask is you put your left and right hand either over your heart or one on your stomach and one on your heart, just so that you really feel that support coming from yourself, and also to align your intentions with your heart chakra or your solar plexus chakra. Both of those are really great for manifesting intentions. And we're just going to take a big deep breath in through the nose, out through the mouth, really expand your belly with it. And we're just going to think about that intention. So let's go ahead and do that now. All right, I'm going to go ahead and light this candle for us with my enchanted lighter. And wow, that wick did not move. Usually the wick will move a little bit, curled up a little bit. But usually the wick will move like instantaneously when you light a candle. That one did not move. I feel like for many of you, this is really saying to us that your intentions are grounded in a really good place. They're coming from a place of purity. They're grounded and they have a stable foundation to come to you. So I love that for us. Let me go ahead and actually pull this forward just a bit so you can actually see it. There we go. All right, we're going to go ahead and see what the tarot has for you. We'll start with your tarot cards and then we will move into the oracle cards. So we have for you the Queen of Swords. We have for you Death. We have for you the Knight of Wands. And we have for you the Three of Wands. Interesting. All right, so I'm gonna be real with y'all. Your summer, you're not taking shit from anyone. With the Queen of Swords and Death next to it, I feel like you are going to be coming out of this summer as somebody with an up-leveled amount of confidence in yourself and how you speak, because Queen of Swords energy knows what they want and they're not afraid to say it. And I feel like for many of you, maybe that's not exactly, sorry, let me just reposition these a little bit so they're a little bit straighter for us. Many of you maybe don't feel that way about your life right now. Like maybe your voice is really hard for you to say what you need to say, do what you need to do, really advocate for yourself. And Spirit is saying that this summer, that's no longer going to be who you are. You're going to be someone that speaks your mind, says what you need to. You're getting an up level of confidence of your throat, basically. And this is going to be a beautiful thing because it's going to allow you to start asking for what it is that you desire, whether that is from people around you, from the divine. You're going to have such a better way with your words, and anywhere that you felt like you haven't been able to do that is going to be ending. Now, with the Knight of Wands energy coming through, the Knight of Wands is really about taking action on your passions. Something that you're really passionate about this summer, I feel like you're going to make really good headway in, because the Knight of Wands says nothing can stop you. You're going full steam ahead. You're making the moves now. Maybe where things have felt like they've been blocked from you, those blockages are going to be dissipating. And with the Three of Wands, I feel like many of you are also maybe going to be possibly traveling. The Three of Wands can talk about travel, usually travel overseas, but it doesn't even necessarily have to mean that. It can be travel like by the sea as well, like you going to a coastal town, or like maybe to a river, to a lake. It's usually something about a body of water and travel. So sometimes the cards really are that literal. Like, to give you somewhat of an example, I recently went to San Francisco for my birthday, and I would draw my cards every morning, and in the evening they were so literal. It was literally it was hilarious. They were so literal. Everything that would happen from like the morning until the night was so spot on. Like even from the restaurants we would choose and like things like that. They were just so literal. Like there was a day that I got recognized by one of you in public, and I had pulled a Six of Wands that day as the significator, which is about public recognition. Like it was almost weird, but so it really can be that literal. Like maybe the place that you're going to be staying has like a water fountain right outside the front door, or like there's something to do with water and traveling somewhere though for you this summer. And I mean, for many of you, that's great. Maybe you're going on a beach vacation. I feel that many of us this summer, there is going to be more of an abundance of moving around, traveling more, expanding more, and just doing things that are more fun, period. Like I feel like last summer for many of us, it really wasn't like that. And this summer we're kind of getting like the retribution. We're getting what we didn't have last summer. And so for many of us, that is going to mean travel, more social gatherings, more things, more coming together with others. Now, it's not going to be everybody. I cannot make predictions for every single country and how they're doing things. But I do feel that even from what I know of looking at like the United States chart, and because that's where I am based, but even looking at like the United States chart, that looks very accurate. In the sense that there will be a lot more opening up over the summer. And that's not me sticking my opinion in here of what I think of that. That's just giving you the facts. So I do feel for many of you that will be the case. You'll be doing a little bit of traveling. It could be far, it could be local, but ultimately I think the most important thing I'm seeing is you're going to start self-advocating. And even if you already feel like you're a good advocate and you are able to speak up for what you need, say what you need to others, I feel like there's somewhere in your life where you have felt really stunted in doing that. And this is the summer where that changes, where you will be really coming more into just being able to speak freely about who you are, how you feel, and what you want. So let's go ahead and take a look at the oracle cards for you, pile number 2. So we have prosperity lies ahead. Love that for us. A fiery climax approaches. Oh, a prosperity lies ahead. This is new moon in Taurus, which we actually just had. A fiery climax approaches full moon in Aries. Full moon in Aries, that will take place in September, October, I think. Because it would be 6 months after March or 6 months after April, like October time. So you might see a full culmination of this coming into the fall. And then show the world the real you, full moon in Aquarius. Full moon in Aquarius, that will be coming up in the summer. During Leo season, we should see a full moon in Aquarius. But some of you also might be Aquarius, Taurus, or Aries placements. But ultimately, what I want you to get from this is we have 2 full moons and a new moon. We're also moving into eclipse season, like very soon, like during summer, we have eclipses coming. And this to me also kind of looks like that. Like we have this new moon, we have full moon, new moon, full moon, right? And even though I don't believe any of these moons in particular are going to be eclipses, like I don't think our full moon in Aquarius is an eclipse. This will happen later. This one already happened this year. But I do feel like this is still a resemblance of eclipse season for us, of this time of really like dramatic change. Eclipses bring that. And many of you that resonate with that or know something about moon phases, I want you coming up on the 26th, I want to say, of this month. I want many of you to think about what you were doing during Sagittarius season, which would have been in late November, early December. Think about what you were doing, what intentions you had set for your life, what seeds you planted, and ask yourself how those seeds are coming along. And I ask you that because we have a full moon in Sagittarius coming up, and this is the culmination of the last 6 months, basically. And it's another eclipse. The new moon in Sagittarius was an eclipse. This full moon in Sagittarius will be an eclipse. And I just got the chills when I said that because I think it's been a very powerful time for many of you that set things in motion at that time. And I think many of us have actually seen things happen. We've seen money come in. We've seen ourselves really start to stand up and be more authentically aligned. And we've also maybe upset some people. You know, have you upset people over the last 6 months? Have you and I know we're getting more into the past. We'll get into kind of the summer stuff in a second. But, you know, how these are like really important questions at this time to be asking yourself just in the present moment before we even get into summer. I feel like y'all kind of got a reading that overlapped, but really pay attention. I want those of you that picked this pile to ask yourself how far you have come, because Spirit wants you to pay attention. I feel like many of you that chose this pile feel like nothing ever changes for you, or things like don't get better or what you desire isn't coming. But look at where you were 6 months ago and where you are now and ask yourself what has changed. It might not be a specific change that you've been waiting for, but things have changed. Now, talking about the summer, I feel that many of you, there is money to be made this summer, okay? Now, with Taurus, I do feel like sometimes it can be money that is just given to us, but oftentimes it's money that we've worked for. You know, Taurus gets this bad rap for being lazy, but I have never met a more hardworking sign. And I say that because I am a Taurus sun, and I was raised by a Taurus sun, and there are a lot of Tauruses like in my family. They are all the most hardworking people in my family that I know. So Taurus gets this weird bad rap, but ultimately they know how to rest and play really hard. Or rest and work really hard. But I do feel that this might be coming from the hard work that you've put in. You may also be gaining prosperity from your voice, from speaking up, from saying something that maybe goes on the contrary of what everybody else thinks and believes. Your opinions during this summer are going to matter. Not that they didn't matter before, but I feel like they're going to impact those around you even more so. And with Show the World the Real You and a Fiery Climax approaches, I do feel that many of you might ruffle some feathers this summer with some of the things that you say. But the important thing to note here is I don't think you're mad about it. Like, I think those of you that get really uncomfortable when people are angry at you, I kind of feel like you're going to be thriving. You're going to be like, no, I don't care that you're mad because I understand my conviction. I know what I stand for. And you don't have to stand for that thing, but you will hear what I have to say because I am demanding that I be heard. I'm tired of not being heard. That might be something that, like, for you, you're used to people always talking over you, interrupting you. And for you, pile number 2, that is something that's no longer, like, you're just not going to tolerate it anymore. And I think it might blindside some of the people in your life. But ultimately, this is you being exactly who you are and who you came here to be. I feel like many of us this summer are getting like a glow up of self. We're coming more into a fuller place of awareness of who we are. And with Show the World the Real You, that's really it. That's all you're doing. People are going to be like, oh my God, you've changed. And what I have to tell you, pile number 2, is make sure you tell them thank you. Because change is what we need. Change is what we want. Nobody should ever feel like they need to stay the same and be in some kind of box. You are not here to be in a box. So let's go ahead and see what else we have for you. We have the card of peace. See, I told you it wasn't going to be a bad thing. And we also have protection. I love this for you. Okay. So with peace and protection, I told you, those of you that like, maybe some of you do want to fight everyone and you don't really freak out when people get mad because somebody in your life taught you correct on how to handle situations when people are angry. Some of us do not have that skill and get really afraid when people are angry. But those of you that feel that way, you're not going to. Like, you're going to be like, no, I don't even care that you're mad, because it's not even about you being right. It's that you're very comfortable with your conviction. That's what keeps coming up, is you're very comfortable. You know what you know. You're not willing to budge. And it doesn't mean that you're not willing to learn and see other perspectives. It's just that you have become stronger in your own opinions. And you're not allowing other people to shut you down anymore or snuff you out anymore. So you're going to have a lot of peace going forward in this, and protection. The things that you say, your words are going to be divinely guided and protected. And especially with those of you that will be traveling this summer, you will be protected in your travel. And then I also have for you the card of hematite. Let's put this one here. Hematite, it says ground yourself. And I feel like, especially with the Queen of Swords, you know, the Queen of Swords is an air card. So this can be very like up in our head, up in our thoughts, up in our intellect, really feeling like, I'm getting this impression of somebody who's like very like steamed, like just feeling a little riled up, needing to say what they need to say. But ultimately, what Spirit is saying is, don't forget to ground yourself. And there are so many ways to practice grounding. My favorite is putting my feet on grass. But if you do not have access to grass, there are so many other ways you can do it. To me, grounding practices really just have to do with connecting to nature in any way that you can. So buy yourself some fresh flowers, put them on your desk, get a new plants, do some gardening. There, you can even do just like windowsill plants. If you don't have anywhere to like garden, you could just get something to put on your kitchen windowsill. You can also practice grounding meditations. Like if you can't go outside right now, you can look up literally on YouTube grounding meditations. Also clearing your energy with things like incense, things like rosemary, you know, really using what you have at your disposal to your benefit to help cleanse you. You can also get crystals that are helpful. Hematite might be one that you want to get your hands on. I don't really feel like I like recommending crystals unless they come up specifically, just because there are so many crystals that people use for so many different things. And though crystals carry certain energies, I also believe that almost any crystal can be used to set almost any intention. So I don't dabble super heavily in giving crystal advice, mostly because I think that it's more up to the person and their experience. So I don't want to go too heavily into that. But hematite, because it came up specifically, might be something that would really help you at this time. And then the last card I have for you is Fate. And with this card, I actually want to pull the book on it because I have seen it before, but I am just so curious. I haven't seen it in a minute. And Spirit is just telling me, like, you know what, pull the book on it. So we're going to do that. This is an ether card. This deck is kind of split into different, I guess it would be like elements. So this one's a little bit more mystical, and it says fate. The card I can't even speak. Mercury retrograde shadow period. Heyo. This card is a reminder that you create your fate. While some lessons and experiences are inescapable, we have free will and choice within the life we are given. This does not always equal fairness, as we do not all start life from the same footing. Nonetheless, each choice we make matters. From this place, we can approach the creation of our life in an empowered way. This deck was inspired by the Norn's 3 mythical figures that rule the destiny of humans within Norse mythology. The name Norn derives from the word meaning to twine, referring to how they weave the threads of fate. Fate is seen as a malleable thing with some fixed aspects. This card's partner is the Weaver. The Weaver asks you to tend to the threads. This card can ask you to get clear on the fate you are weaving. This card is big picture and all about vision. What are you working towards? What are you saying no to? When we say no, we are saying no to all the experiences that would unfold in the aftermath. Both the yes and no are powerful when we are creating our reality. So again, this even talks about using your words, using your ability to say yes or no to experiences that you may or may not want to have. And knowing that when we say yes or no, we are opening and closing different doors. And, I don't say that because I want to get you all up in your worry, like, oh my God, I shouldn't say no to this, or I shouldn't say yes to this. It's really about grounding yourself in that and asking yourself, what is going to serve my highest good and the good of those around me? So you've got this, pile number 2. I'm so excited. Before we go, Spirit has one last message, and it just came through. So I was like, I need to stop. Sometimes the Queen of Swords is not about your voice. It's about writing, which also is your voice, but it's in a different form. So some of you, this could also just be using the way that you write. So just pay attention to that. Might make sense for some of you. Anyways, I hope this reading helped you. Don't forget to claim your blessing. Check me out over on Twitter. Nope, I don't have a Twitter. That's a lie. On TikTok, on Instagram, my Patreon, where I put exclusive content out, linked down below for you. And if you feel called to do so, it is never an expectation, but always appreciated. I have my Cashapp, my Venmo, and my PayPal listed. I do accept tips for my readings. I actually purchased this really cool Sailor Moon deck because of so many of you that have given to the channel. I always pour it back in. So thank you to those of you that do that. I really appreciate it. But again, it is never an expectation of you. And please do not forget, when you stand up in your own authenticity, you empower everyone around you to do the same. I love you so much, my pumpkins, and I'll speak to you again soon. Bye. Have a magical summer. Hello, my beautiful pile number 3, and welcome to your summer 2021 reading. If you chose this pile, you chose the blue candle. Blue candles actually stand for really your emotions. They also can stand for like water elements, which this would be like your Scorpio, Cancer, Pisces signs. But also, I would like to point out that the color blue could mean a lot of things to you. This could be a bright blue sky. This could be the depths of the ocean. It doesn't have to be anything that I have mentioned. You can set whatever intention you want with this candle, but the only thing I do request, if you feel good about it, is putting your left and right hands either both over your heart or one over your heart and one over your stomach. This just helps us to feel really supported by ourselves, and it aligns our energy to our intention. So we're going to take one big deep breath in together, in through the nose, out through the mouth, and really let your stomach expand with this one and focus on that intention that you want to call in. All right, I'm going to go ahead and light this candle for us. Ooh, that was a big flame. Like, even the second the fire touched the wick, it was like ba-bam. I don't know how well the camera picked that up, but it's also kind of hard to see at that angle. Eventually, I want to do a dual camera setup where you can see the candles a little better when we do them. But the flame is very straight, very sturdy, very like this is a big flame. I feel like y'all that chose the blue pile, the blue candle pile, y'all have some big dreams, some big goals, and Spirit is saying now is the time to bring them into alignment with you. So it's a good sign. All right, we're going to go ahead and first look at your tarot cards, and then we'll get into the oracle cards. So let's see. For you, we have the Four of Swords. Love to see that energy popping up for you. We also have for you the Sun. It's funny that I would say a bright blue sky. We have the Two of Wands for you and the Ace of Cups. Wow, pile number 3. I feel like your summer is going to be like suns out, buns out. There is a lot of rest, a lot of rejuvenation coming for you, summer 2021. There is a lot of you getting to create whatever you want this to be. This could also be the summer of romance with the Ace of Cups coming out for you. This can be a new romance. Let me refocus on these cards to make sure we have a really clear depiction. Okay, this could be for you a new romance that's budding. If you're somebody that's already in a committed relationship, this also is a lot about your cup running over, but in a good way. Like the Ace of Cups really comes to tell us about like our cup is so full because we've taken such good care of ourselves that our energy is literally spilling out over and like filling those around us. So the Ace of Cups is always a beautiful gift from the universe, whether it is something that is like a desire of the heart or you just feeling really good. Like I feel like I'm getting like a very big feeling of contentment from you, pile number 3. There is this like you are just vibing in life right now. You're feeling really good. You're feeling very secure in yourself and in your home. I bring up your home, pile number, did I say 1? I'm going to say 3. Pile number 3, I bring up your home because the Four of Swords, fours to me always talk a little bit about the foundation, about the home. But the Four of Swords is also a card of deep rest, whether that is in the home or outside the home. I feel like I pull the Four of Swords in almost every reading I do. Somebody gets it. Like this card comes out constantly. I feel like many of you that are drawn to my channel, to my readings, you often come here for rest. Like, I don't know if it's something about my voice, about how I read cards, something about you being here. You are like provided with rest. Maybe I give that healing energy off. I'm not really sure, but many of you come here for rest. But I feel like during this summer, you're going to get that deep sense of rejuvenation. With the Two of Wands, this is literally about creating your reality. The Two of Wands says you have the world in your hands and you can do anything with it. You can make anything you want come into fruition this summer. And it's a really powerful place to be. You might even be like on the precipice of trying to understand what it is that you even do desire so you can start taking steps. But no matter what it is, pile number 3, having the sun, especially during the summertime, having the sun come out in a reading, it is definitely a very fortuitous thing. Like this is good fortune. It's good fun. It's joy. It's victory. If there's something you've been working hard towards, it's a sign of victory for you. It's a sign of you getting to celebrate the fruits of your labor and what you've either been through or what you've done, what you've accomplished. There is definitely a celebration coming. Maybe you have a birthday in the summer. But there is definitely something coming. Ooh, sorry if there's smoke coming into the camera. Pile number 1's candle just went out. Like I let them go out on their own, but there's a bunch of smoke. Very interesting. I feel like candles, they don't usually smoke like that. If you are somebody that got pile number 1 and also looked at 3, I feel like the smoke is definitely like going towards the camera too. Smoke often is about being purified. So many of you, even just being here right now, are like getting a healing, getting a cleansing. So I love that for you. It was beautiful. That was a lot more smoke than I anticipated. It's gone now. It's done now. I don't even know if you could see it, but really interesting. So I feel like ultimately, this is like if any of you watched my last reading, I was like very hyper, very electric, very like excited to be there. Not that I never am, but a lot of times that's the energy I'm feeding off of from you. And this pile is giving me that same vibe. Like many of you might have upcoming birthdays in the summer. You're feeling excited. You're anticipating what's to come. And if you're not there right now, this is the energy that your summer is going to bring to you. Is this like, oh, I'm so excited about life. I'm excited about what's coming. I feel like things are actually working. There are things that are like everything's coming up me. And in like the best way possible for you, in a way that feels very settling. Like it's not an unsettled thing. It's not this big, exciting energy that leaves you feeling anxious. It's this exciting energy that's like, this just feels so correct. Like I said, it's a big, to me, sign of like contentment. You're feeling very content in life. So we also have for you, what do you need to release with the waning moon? We have for you, the energy is gaining momentum with the waxing moon, and then surrender to the divine with the full moon. So I also want to point out to you, pile number 3, that we have a lot of purple and blues going on in these images. All of them, actually. Even up here, these are all shades of blue, and then there's like a pinky purple here. This, to me, is a lot about your crown coming down to your throat chakra. So these are going to be the upper chakras. You might even feel like you feel very stabilized from your root up through your heart, which, if you don't know anything about chakras, basically we have the root chakra, the sacral chakra, the solar plexus, and the heart chakra. All of those are like lower chakras. I mean, the heart technically is the center, but within that, I feel like many of you are already like coming into summer or a part of summer. You're going to be feeling really good in that place. You're going to be feeling, very safe, very loved, very nurtured, very taken care of, very supported. But your upper chakras might need a little bit more convincing. You might find that you need to work a little bit more on those. So this would be your throat, your third eye, and your crown. So the throat, this is like where we speak from. This is how we get things out with our voice. Your third eye is how you see. Basically, it's like not your seeing eyes, but your ability. It has a lot to do with like psychic ability and being able to see like your future, what you want in the future. That's not all the third eye is about. That's just like some basic stuff. And then the crown chakra at the crown of your head, this is your connection to the divine. So being able to channel information, like what I do here when I read tarot, I have a very strong crown chakra. I'm able to channel very easily. It's something that I've always had. But for you, this might be something that doesn't come as easily to you. And this summer, you're going to be working on those. Now we also have, with the energy gaining momentum, what do you need to release and surrender to the divine? Many of you, I feel like, always want to force things in your life to happen. You always feel like, okay, what kind of job do I need to have? How can I make money? How can I get this person's attention? How can I make this happen? And this summer, Spirit is saying you need to just say what you need or ask for what you need, whether it is to a physical person or to the divine, and then let it go. Let it go on the wind. Because what's going to happen is, as these gifts return back to you and you see them manifest over the summer, it's going to reinstill your faith in yourself. It's going to bring you back to a place of trusting that you don't have to be on 24/7 to make things happen. It's okay for you to rest, to take breaks, to change your course, to make new decisions, and that life isn't meant to be so hard all the time. You are meant to enjoy life. You are here to have fun. You're here to have the human experience, which is not all doom and gloom 24/7. And I feel that many of you maybe haven't always had that experience, but maybe more recently. And over the summer, you're going to be having so much fun. It's going to feel like a thing of the past. So I love that. You're going to be releasing a lot of things that have been looming over you. I feel like many of you that picked 3 also picked 1, because romance somewhat came out in 1, and so did this thing on releasing something really major from you. And just surrendering it. When you feel like you've surrendered, surrender more. Like my good friend Gabrielle Bernstein says, she doesn't know that we're friends because she doesn't know me, but someday. Gabrielle Bernstein, if you don't know her work, she's an amazing, amazing, amazing woman in the spiritual community. That's her thing. When you think you've surrendered enough, surrender more. Let go more and see what happens. Just try it out. It can be really hard to let go when we're used to having to force everything. It's take baby steps. It's not an overnight thing. But the energy for you is gaining momentum. I feel like you're going to be gaining, like things are going to increase really steadily coming into summer. And then they're going to hit this climactic point and then you're going to coast, which I love that. It's beautiful. But it is going to be kind of a buildup of this like joyous contentment. It's going to come in really slowly. And I think the reason it's coming in slowly is because there is a little bit of fear. There is this like, I don't know, like things have been hard for so long. I don't know if I can just feel joy about this thing. But you can. It's going to continue to build momentum. And again, it's going to bring you back to a place of having self-trust. So we also have for you the card. I knew this was coming. Oh my gosh. I hate it when I do this. I hate it when I feel something and I don't say it, because then it comes out in the cards and I'm just like, how did this happen? I mean, I know how it happens, but we have the card of fertility. Now, obviously, not every single one of you is going to be getting pregnant, but I knew when I looked at this pile that there was going to be pregnancy in this pile. I just knew. So those of you that you came here asking about pregnancy for the summer, this is your confirmation. You are going to be fertile AF and it is the time, or your partner is. So get busy this summer. And if that's not what you want, make sure you're careful, okay? We also have prosperity for you, which fertility doesn't always have to be pregnancy if that's not what you're looking for in your life right now. Fertility can be just the fertility of thought, the fertility of the mind, fertility of things being very fruitful and having like really good ground to start new things on, having fertile soil to plant new intentions. So it doesn't always have to be pregnancy specifically, but those of you that have been asking about that, I knew this pile was about pregnancy. I don't know why I knew that, but I sometimes those things just happen. I need to start saying what I think is going to happen beforehand, or what I think is in there. I've never tried that. I've never tried to like leave cards face down and then like kind of talk about the energy I'm feeling about it. I feel like people wouldn't believe me though. I feel like people would be like, you staged that. But it always blows my own. I'm blowing my own mind at the moment. But prosperity, this to me means that if you've been worried about finances going into the summer, or like you're worried about being able to afford a vacation or some downtime, you don't have to worry about that. Your finances are being taken care of. You've got it in the bag, literally. We also have for you the card of Phantom Quartz, which says embrace change. So there might be some big change. Like, I mean, if one of those changes could be pregnancy and having to embrace that. Now I do want to make it very clear that is not me giving you my opinion on that everybody should embrace pregnancy if that's not what you want. That's just me saying that for some of you that maybe you've been a little iffy about it, like it's okay to embrace that change. And it's also okay for you to embrace things feeling good. It's okay for you to embrace things being joyous. You don't have to stomp things out the moment that good things happen to you and for you. Because I feel like this summer, pile number 3, with the energy that is culminating around this reading, it's going to be such a fun time that I feel like it strikes fear in you because somebody taught you that when good things happen, bad things follow it up. And that's not always true. Things can just be good. You can let life be good to you. And that's really what your summer is going to be showing to you. Now, we also have for you the Revolutionary, which I think I did this with pile number 2 as well, but I actually want to read the book on this one. This deck I am familiar with, but I don't know every single card by heart because they're a little bit different. So we are going to pull the book on this one. The Revolutionary is a card from the ether, which is a little bit more mystical. We love to see it. Let's see. The Revolutionary. Okay. So the Revolutionary states that the Revolutionary card is asking you to challenge the status quo, whether it is external or internal. The Revolutionary seeks to do things radically different. Like the outlaw, the Revolutionary has ideals that can be viewed as out there. They are a natural leader, They can see what the collective needs and are able to put it into action. They invite others to be a part of building the world with them. The revolutionary invites us to bring some of the trailblazing energy and apply it to our situation in life. How can you meet the needs of the collective? How can you lead with integrity? Be aware that working with the revolutionary energy does not always translate to being accepted and loved. You will have people that support you, but your work can also attract naysayers. That just means it is potent and worthwhile. Do not let anyone affect how you stand in the world. Allow their words to fuel your fire and keep going. A balanced revolutionary leads and empowers. They are not afraid to be direct and deliver a harsh message when necessary, but they do so with love. They are original thinkers that push the envelope. They are all about questioning things and inviting others to do the same. They are truth seekers, but are fluid in how they find truth. In the quest for good of the greater collective, an unbalanced revolutionary may become oppressive and use tactics that can be harmful. They also may become tyrannical and unable to hear others because they have some unbalanced ego issues. So I feel like, if anything, the sun card can sometimes represent our ego. Just be careful with that, with how you speak to others. Make sure you're not snuffing out how other people see the world. It's important to learn all aspects. It's important to hear everybody's side. And even if we don't agree with it, because we don't have to, it's important to still try to understand where those thoughts or those sayings or where things are even coming from. But with the revolutionary, something that really came up as I was reading that is many of you don't feel like leaders. And you're like, nope, I hear this a lot in my comments too. Nope, I just want a simple life with my house and my dog. I don't want to have a career. I don't dream of that. And I think that's a beautiful way to live, truly. I think honestly, I see it more and more now that people say, like, I don't dream of labor. And I think that's great. Really. I think that's how we should be moving in society. We shouldn't be dreaming of labor. But I want to remind you that even if you don't feel like a leader in your community and you don't want to go out there and lead people, every person you come into contact with, you are a leader. Now, sometimes you follow others and they lead you. But whether it's your dog, whether it's your cat, your fish, your mom, your dad, your siblings, your significant other, your aunt, your uncle, your cousin, you get the point. We lead people every single day by sharing our ideas with each other and changing our perspectives. So even if you live a quiet life, you can still be a revolutionary in your own way. This isn't about you leading the masses and having to have this like big political career. You're a leader every day in every interaction that you have. So just keep that in mind. It doesn't have to be so broad spectrum. But pile number 3, I think this is going to be such an exciting time. I feel like there's a lot of changes coming for you in the summer, a lot of good things, a lot of the 2 of Wands can also talk about travel. I don't think I mentioned that. There is potentially travel. There's a lot of rest. There's a lot of joy to be had, budding new romances. I feel like your reading out of everybody today was like the most scattered. It kind of hit on everything. But I feel like ultimately you're going to be feeling really good. It might take some time. It's going to ramp up before it gets there, but you're going to be feeling like very good in your situation. And especially those of you that haven't been feeling that way, I think this is going to be a really welcomed change. So I wish you nothing but the best. Please do not forget, when you stand up in your own authenticity, you empower everyone around you to do the same. Don't forget to follow me on TikTok, on Instagram, my podcast, my Patreon, where there is exclusive content. And if you should choose to do so, it is never an expectation, but always appreciated. I have my Venmo, Cashapp, and PayPal listed down below. I love accepting tips for my readings. I pour them immediately back into the channel unless you tell me otherwise in like a comment. Sometimes people will be like, go get lunch, Kloee. And I'm like, all right, I'm doing it. But for the most part, everything goes back into the channel. We actually just got this Sailor Moon deck because of so many of you. So thank you so much. I appreciate you. And I love you so much, my pumpkins. I will speak to you all again soon. Bye.